CeeDee Lamb is the best player on the Cowboys. Potentially.
Ooh.
And more questions for the guys here in just a second. So the idea here, I want to run through some various hypotheticals and some different questions about the Cowboys right now and get y'all's thoughts on them. You guys can weigh in on the truckwreck.com fan text 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. Before we do that, you just heard there the connection with Jake Ferguson, and I gotta say, and I know we gave him a star up earlier, but I really need to give Jake Ferguson his flowers, because the way he has stepped up and become a really just solid, reliable target for Dak Prescott, I think is huge. Because we've talked before, that San Francisco game last year in the playoffs, it was when Tony Pollard went down, you had nothing because they just took away CeeDee Lamb. They just committed to, all right, we're going to roll extra coverage to Lamb. We'll take him away. Nobody else can beat us. And not that Ferguson is some massive vertical downfield threat, but what you're seeing from Jake Ferguson is that Dak is going to be able to rely on him. Dak has that kind of sixth sense with him. They've got that connection. The last time Dak Prescott threw an incompletion Jake Ferguson's way was the fourth quarter against Arizona. So we're talking about, we've gone a month now where every target has converted with Jake Ferguson.
Look, I love Jake Ferguson. He sat down with us. Cool dude.
Awesome interview.
I mean, are we overreacting a little bit? He's got 8 catches in his last 3 games. We're talking about
that's 2.5 a game.
We're talking about Jake Ferguson. Like my tight end questions are: should you have gotten rid of Schultz? We were fine with letting Dalton leave. The worst part about him leaving town was his wife being a Tolo. And then number 2, should you have drafted Schoon? So those are my follow-up tight end questions. Awesome game from Ferguson, 4 for 47, but he had 1 for 15 the game before and 3 for 28 the game before that. Had 2 nice games before those. For the season, he's got 25 catches for 237 and 2 touchdowns.
I mean, Dak will, generally...
That was a great catch, by the way.
It was. I mean, look, Dak has done a good job in his career of
throw. I'm kidding. It was great. Very, very good throw. Phenomenal catch.
It was a great throw.
Great and great.
Yep, it was a great throw and a greater catch.
You tried. Trolling Bobby.
Would they have taken Laporta?
Yes.
Over Schoon?
They may have taken Laporta
over Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I mean, it was Laporta definitely would have been their guy.
Because he's really, really good. The Lions found something. The Lions have had a good draft.
Mike McCarthy loved Sam Laporta, and I believe it was Justin Stuckey, their Midwest scout, came on with us on DallasCowboys.com to talk about the draft process and who they had taken so far. And Wolchuk had asked him, he's like, hey, is there anybody that when you saw a pick go, you were like, damn it, like it upset you? And he was like, oh yeah, Laporta. He's like, when Laporta got picked by Detroit, he's like, that was a real bummer.
Like, I hope when they went to the second round, they weren't just dead set on a tight end and just zeroing in on a tight end.
No, I think Laporta and Schoonmaker, I think those guys were just up near the top of their board.
Look, would you have signed Dalton Schultz? That's a lot of money. You were going to give him. You already signed him. They're doing a lot of money.
Here's the big thing: is that what Schultz did for you in the red zone? He was one of the best red zone targets in the NFL the last 3 years. Their connection worked really well. He's a savvy route runner. Dalton knew how to work in close quarters. That's a tough area to get separation as the field gets shorter. The first week when these red zone issues started, Jake Ferguson had been targeted 4 times. He had 1 catch for 9 yards, and he had, I think, 2 drops in the red zone. And that was one of the things where it's like, well, crap, you're not going to get anything out of there. Since that time, he's been really good. He has 6 catches on 7 targets for 50 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns now in the red zone. He's becoming somebody that they can rely on. That's the same throw. The one that he caught yesterday is the same one that was on Luke Schoonmaker's hands, and he couldn't finish a couple weeks back. And so
I think the Schoonmaker throw is even better.
Yeah, the Schoonmaker, and that was like dead on his hands.
Yeah.
Like he should have caught that. But this is something where I think what you're seeing with Ferguson is he a vertical threat? No. Is he going to be this big volume receiver? No. But what you are seeing is he's replacing some of that savvy and just that natural. He can be a chain mover. Jake Ferguson can reliably move the chain.
Let me give a couple more star ups because we're going to go with Jared Sandler and Nick Eatman in the final hour of the show. Star up to Brandon Aubrey. Oh, new rule on the show. We can never again go to Oxnard if there's a question about the kicker and doubt what they're doing. We're 0 for 2. We look stupid. We did it with Maher. He had a Pro Bowl type season. Now he's getting cut everywhere. And we did it with Aubrey. No one knew who this guy was. Are you kidding me? And now he is a Pro Bowl kicker right now, hitting that from 58 and making it 10-3 yesterday. And I was like, I feel like he's going to make it. I mean, they have the way that the Steelers and the Packers find receivers. This team does it with kickers.
Their plan with kickers is generally pretty good. Just don't pay him. Jerry's never wanted to pay a kicker. Parcells talked him into it one time with Vanderjagt, and that was a disaster. It was a disaster, but just find a kicker and hope they get about 84%.
So when you walk into the locker room after a game,
well,
it's usually been just a feeding frenzy. Like everybody's just kind of running around. In recent years, the Cowboys have figured out, like, okay, a good idea would be for us to take, like, maybe the 3 stars of the game, put them up against a wall away from the locker so we're not just crowded. So yesterday it was CeeDee Lamb, Deron Bland, and then the third was Brandon Aubrey.
Wow.
And so he got to stand up there and get the media, but he's been a godsend in terms of bringing stability to something that was terrifying everyone.
Star up to, I'm always checking on this team's intelligence level. So I'm always checking penalties, and red zone's been a big issue, right? 2 for 4 in the red zone. They only committed 4 penalties, 21 yards. The Rams only had 4 penalties for 25 yards. And star up referees. And y'all, I know you don't want to hear this, but we try to just bring the reality. If the Cowboys get screwed in a referee, or if you got screwed in some calls yesterday later on, or if they get screwed in the next game, things even out because you got the benefit of some calls in this game. It happened. No one talks about it. The Charger game, 3rd and 19, a penalty. It was humongous and gave the Cowboys maybe the game. Mm-hmm. The first drive of this game, that was a ticky-tack illegal contact on 3rd and 11. Dak, that was his 3rd sack it should have been. That was a pretty ticky-tack call. Cowboys, first down. And I was like, ooh, that's going to come back with some karma in terms of evening things out. I also wrote down the illegal contact. Jordan Lewis grabbed Cooper Kupp. Sean McVay was not happy about that. He got him, wrapped the arm around the waist. And then for some reason I wrote Nakua catch. Oh, Puka Nakua ended up catching the football. And they blew it incomplete. It was the bobble one, and it kind of came back to him. The Cowboys got the benefit of the officiating yesterday. Just remember that the next time, as RJ said, when we complain that, oh, they're getting screwed, and Roger Goodell doesn't want them in the Super Bowl.
Generally, fans of any team, it doesn't matter what team it is, what sport it is, they will focus on the times where the team gets screwed and overlook the ones where they get the benefit of the doubt. And that's just the nature of fans, and it's okay. It's the way it is.
Yep.
All right, so let's run through some of these questions really quickly. With the instability on the offensive line and all the changes that are always there, Sean, the Cowboys should draft an offensive lineman in the top 100 of every draft, regardless of how they feel about their unit.
Top 100. That's for what, first 3 rounds?
Yeah. Just make sure if you get to the 3rd round and you've gone best player available the first 2, look, the 2nd round has become their blue star special round. Maybe you just commit to a 3rd round. I'm taking an offensive lineman. I don't care how good my group is. I'm just always going to replenish that.
I mean, I don't know how the Cowboys' offensive line depth is compared to the rest of the league.
It's depth around the league is not good. That's why I'm saying if you want to make sure that you are solid there and you've got the depth behind you, you will probably just have to commit to, regardless of how good we are, we've just got to keep throwing picks.
I just want to know what everybody said yesterday when they first heard Tyron was out. Tell me the words that you can repeat on the radio that came out of your mouth.
Really?
Really what?
Really? He's out?
Well, that's surprising.
Really? Mine was much more R-rated than that.
I think Tyron Smith's words were really too. I think he went, really? I'm out.
Oh, really? You think he was surprised?
I think Tyron Smith thought he was playing yesterday. And I don't know that he found out until very, very late in the game.
So what happens now at left tackle with Udoka hurt?
It sounds like the buzz out of there is it's a sprained ankle, so I don't know. I guess we'll figure out exactly how bad that one is.
Let's just say he's out for Philly.
Let's say he's out.
I think you should play Tyler Smith out there. They may just roll Awesome Richards out there like they did, but we'll see.
Generally, like if they do say that they want to keep Tyler Smith at guard, I mean, then they like up the middle they are pretty solid, which is big, but you know that the left tackle is just more important.
By the way, this is the 2nd highest sack percentage of Dak's career so far. This is the only one that was bigger was 2018. The Cowboys would beat the 49ers if they played next week on a neutral field.
Woo!
I mean, why don't you just wait till overreactions or not?
Yeah, I know. He's, again, blowing up a Tuesday, Wednesday topic.
How was I supposed to know this is a Tuesday, Wednesday topic?
How long have you been on the show? That's how you know.
less
When we
than a
talk
year.
about, the actual game. But San Francisco has lost 3 straight. People are calling Purdy Linsanity.
Wow.
This is from NFL memes. Niners have dropped 3 straight. Purdy's Linsanity run is over. Bosa has more Skims ads than sacks. Debo and Trent Williams are made of glass. Trey Lance not there to save them. Steve Wilkes is ass. Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is 1-30 when trailing by 3 or more entering the fourth quarter.
All right.
They lose to Cincy yesterday, and they got worked.
This has to be a Monday topic then, real quick. I'll hit you with this last one because this is
Who are the Cowboys going to face in the NFC title game? Is that what you have next?
Trade deadline is obviously tomorrow, so this question has an expiration date. Trey Lance has much higher upside than Cooper Rush. We all agree with that. There's a little bit of an unknown factor. Would you rather trade Trey Lance for a 3rd-round pick or Cooper Rush for a 5th?
Trey Lance for a 3rd.
So you have to give up the potential upside of Lance. You're getting a better pick. But with Rush, you may be saying, I know exactly what he is. If I can get a 5th-round pick, if I can get day 3 depth.
Say that again?
Would you rather trade Trey Lance for a 3rd and keep Cooper Rush or trade Cooper Rush for a 5th and keep the unknown of Trey Lance behind Dak?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Trey Lance for a 3rd or Cooper for a 5th?
Trey Lance is never going to play here, so just get the 3rd.
I think I agree. Are you? I'm assuming Dak is re-signed.
Daniel Jeremiah suggested yesterday, he said, I wonder if Minnesota would call the Cowboys about Lance with Kirk Cousins going down. Trey Lance is from Minnesota. The Vikings were really high on Trey Lance. They've kind of salvaged their season. They're 500 now.
And poor Kirk Cousins. It's amazing how bad you feel for him after the Netflix thing, gone with the Achilles.